Hello guys, welcome. And I'm gonna go over today's lesson just so that we make sure that we can clear any questions that you guys might have or anything else. Okay, so here we go. So today I said warm up number 7 was posted on Canvas. If you see it there, go ahead and solve it. If you don't see it, then it means that I don't want you guys to complete it. So don't worry about it. So warm up number 7 is to be done on your own. Learning objective for today was measuring and constructing segments. And we also have homework 1.1b and 1.1c in module 1 on Canvas, okay? So if you go over today's lesson. So learning objective is measuring and constructing segments. So I gave you guys an example last time. And this example was the pool. And it was pertaining to a swimmer. And the swimmer swims from one side of the pool. And it travels all the way through the pool to get to the opposite side. So it travels throughout the pool to travel a certain distance. In particular, sometimes the pools measure 50 meters, and sometimes they want to travel as much as possible to get to their desired distance, which is it could be 100 meters, it could be 200 meters. It all depends on the competition. So how do they travel more than 50 meters? Well, what they do is that they start from one side of the pool, they travel all the way through the pool to the other side, they then do their flip, and they continue on. So this means that no matter what direction they're traveling back and forth, they're always going to add on to their distance. And that's what we're going to go ahead and see today. So our first postulate that we're introduced to is the segment addition postulate. And it says that let A, B, and C be collinear points. And collinear means points that fall or exist in the same line, on the same line. It says if B is between A and C, then segment AB and segment plus segment BC is equivalent or equal to segment AC. And here's an image so that you can see how it's represented. So we have segment AB and segment BC. If they're collinear and B falls in between, then it means that it's also equivalent to the entire segment AC. And here we have our first example. You can go ahead and pause it if you need to copy it. Copy this down into your notes. I'm going to move on to the next example. So here it goes. Example number 1A. Example 1A. It says that if segment GH measures 9 units and segment HI measures 2 units, find the segment of GI. So let's go ahead and first identify what we were given in order for us to solve for what needs to be solved for. So we have segment GH, and here's G, here's H. We started from endpoint G, and it goes all the way to H, and we say that this is 9 units. The next information that's given, I'm going to go ahead and do this in blue. It says that I have segment HI, and it says that this segment here is 2 units. And we want to know what the measurement of the length of segment GI is. So which one is GI? So here's G, here's I. So that means that the entire segment, we don't know what it is, right? So it's a question mark. But because we don't know what it is, from looking at it, we know we can add the 2 segments together. However, mathematically, we don't know what it is. And for us to apply the segment addition postulate, we're going to go ahead and assign a variable. Okay, and this is just to apply the segment addition postulate. We're going to go ahead and apply this variable here. In our variable, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and use X. Now, let's go ahead and apply our postulate. It says that the first segment, we have GI. Sorry, our first segment is GH. Let me change colors. GH plus our second segment, HI, equals to the entire segment, GI. So what is GH? GH is 9 units. HI is 2 units. And GI, we don't know. So that's our unknown, right? So let's go ahead and simplify now. 9 plus 2 gives me 11. 11 is then equal to X. However, we know that X is equal to 11. We're not done yet. We need to figure out what the segment or what the question is. It's saying for us to find the length of segment GI, and GI here is equal to X. So that means that GI equals 11 units. And don't forget your measurements, okay? So this is our first example. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next example. I'm gonna go ahead and clear this out. You can go ahead and pause the video if you need to write this down. Next example, example 1B. So it says that segment DE measures 3 units and segment DF measures 7 units. Find the length of segment EF. So let's go ahead and identify again what we have. We have DE, here's D, oops. Here is D, here is E. This segment here measures 3 units. Our next segment, it's DF. So here's D, here's F. So now this entire segment measures 7 units. Now we need to find EF. Here is E, here is F. So this is what we have as our unknown. So we don't know what this piece or this segment is. And I'm gonna go ahead and use a different variable. I'm gonna go ahead and use a Y now. So let's go ahead and apply the postulate, the segment addition postulate. It says that DE, our first segment here, plus EF equals DF. Okay, so now let's go ahead and substitute our values. We know that DE is 3 units. EF is Y, we don't know. And DF is 7. So how do we solve for Y? We're gonna go ahead and subtract 3 on both sides because it's a one-step equation now. We have Y equals 7 minus 3 gives me 4. So therefore I have Y equals 4. We're not done yet. We have to answer what they are asking. It's asking for us to find the length of segment EF. And now EF is equal to Y. So we say EF is equal to 4 units. There we go. All right, so let's go on to the next example. You can go ahead and pause this video if you need to go back and review this. I'm gonna go ahead and clear it now. Let's move on to the next example. Next example, example 1C. This one says, using the segment addition postulate, find the missing length. And it's giving us information. It says S is between R and T. Find RT. Now let's see. Well, we know that the segment addition postulate says that we have our first segment, and our first segment here given is RS. So let's go ahead and write that down. RS plus our second segment is at ST, so ST. And it's equivalent or equal to the entire segment, which is RT. And now let's go ahead and substitute our values. Well, RS is this expression, 2x plus 7. I'm going to go ahead and write that down. 2x plus 7. Our segment ST is 28. Okay. And now it's saying that our segment RT, R is here, T is here, so it's this entire segment measurement that's given here is equal to 4x. Now we've created an equation that we can go ahead and simplify. Let's see, on our left side, we have 2x plus 7 plus 28. I'm going to go ahead and simplify or combine 7 and 28. So 2x plus 7 plus 28 gives me 35 equals 4x. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2x because it's my next step. This goes to 0. I now have 35 equals 2x. And now I'm going to go ahead and divide 2. Divide 2. This simplifies to 1. And I have x equals 35 divided by 2 is 17.5 or 17 and a half, right? However, I'm not done. I need to find the segment RT. And RT, if you notice, is what? 4x. So what do I have to do in this particular example? I'm going to go ahead and write for RT equals 4x. Well, we know what x is, so I'm going to go ahead and substitute x into this expression over here. So RT equals 4, inside parentheses 17.5. Now I'm going to go ahead and continue simplifying. 4 times 17.5 gives me, I think it's 70. Yes, it's 70. RT equals 70. And that is our solution. This particular example does not have any unit measurements, so we just leave it as is. If you need any time to copy this down, go ahead and pause the video so that you can copy this down. All right. So in your notes, guys, you're gonna go ahead and see the Nearpod lesson. I want you to go ahead and show me that work here so I know that you guys took notes, and also to have it as your for your future reference. I'm going to leave that there for a while so you can go back and refer to this. The next thing that I wanted to address is the distance. So distance exists between any 2 points, and it's the absolute value of the difference of coordinates. So our next step here is going to now find distance between 2 points, given that they have there's a line that exists between them, right? And we're going to go ahead and put them on coordinates now. We're going to stay with 1 dimension, which is the number line for this lesson. So we're going to go ahead and practice with that. It says that if the coordinate points A and B are A and B, which are the values to the points, then the distance between point A and point B can be found as the absolute value of the difference of A minus B or B minus A. Notice here that I have my points and I'm given value for the points as well. This is something also that we can call or we know as the length of something. So you can go ahead and pause the video if you need to copy this down. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and now go to the example. I have example here 2B. 2B or not 2B? All right, so it says right here, find the length of DF. So DF, we said that whenever we have our points, we're gonna go ahead and find the difference of the absolute value, right? So we're only interested on DF. So whenever they're asking for a certain particular point or a certain segment, we're going to focus on the value or the placement value of D and the placement value of F. And what is the placement value of D? Well, D is what? -8. And what is the placement value for F? Well, F is at +2. Okay, so we're saying that we're going to take the value of them. So we're going to go ahead and take the value of D minus F. or vice versa. If you want to flip them around, I'm going to go ahead and keep them like that. And we know that D is -8 minus my placement value for F is 2. So I'm going to go ahead and simplify what's inside my absolute value. I have -8 minus 2. I'm going to go ahead and do my inverse, the additive inverse here. And now I have -8 plus -2. So I have now -8 plus -2 gives me -10. So the absolute value of -10. So what is that? Absolute value of -10. I need to take the opposite sign, or whatever comes out of here. If it's negative, it's always going to be positive. I now have 10. And I'm going to go ahead and write units. Another way to prove this is by counting the spaces. So we start from D and we go all the way to F. We can go ahead and count the spaces, and I'm going to go ahead and change the color so you can see what I'm doing. I can go from -8, -7, -6, -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So let's go ahead and count the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And that is correct. And 10. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let you practice on the next one on your own, and make sure you include that in your notes. And that's it for the lesson. So let me go ahead and address the homework. So I know everybody knows where to submit and how to submit. So if you were to open your Canvas, you are going to see that it's already posted there. And if you don't, let me know. I'll fix that for you. However, let me go ahead and make that arrangement for you. So this is what you should see. You have your modules. Go to modules. You will see your new lesson, which is 1.1c. You have had 1.1b on either Tuesday or Wednesday whenever I saw you. I'm going to go ahead and explain homework activity 1.1b. So 1.1b, it's a link. And the link, whenever you press it, it's going to make you make a copy. So you go ahead and press and make a copy. Now, whenever you complete this activity, you're going to save this document as a PDF file or as a Word file, whatever file you need to save it. So I'm going to go ahead and make a copy. So I'm going to go ahead and imagine that I completed all this. I'm going to go ahead and go file, and then download either as a Microsoft Word, open, I don't know what this format is, or rich text, PDF. I would prefer either Word or PDF. PDF is more, I will be able to open it if you were to submit it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. It's saved onto my desktop. So I have it here. I'm going to go ahead and click Submit Assignment. It's going to ask you to choose file. Whenever you're done, you already have it saved. Imagine that you have it saved, and it will be automatically there saved for you. So I can go ahead and click and drag it on here, and it'll be submitted. Submit assignment, and then I'll be able to see it on my end, okay? So that's how to submit the homework assignments from now on. It's all going to be through Canvas. I don't need to submit this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go over the homework really quickly. So it's going to be applying the segment addition postulate. And it's saying that your wingspan is the length of your outreached arms from one tip of your middle finger to the other tip of your middle finger. And it's saying that the length of your wingspan can also be measured as a segment, right? So you're going to go ahead and spread your arms. And if you need help, go ahead and call a family member or somebody in your house that can help you measure your arms, right? And it's saying that in this homework activity, you're gonna measure the length of your wingspan and that of 2 family members. I need 3 people, okay? Or 3 members of your household that can participate in this activity. 1 is yourself and then 2 others. You're gonna go ahead and use this table here that's provided for you. The table, then you're gonna go ahead and write your name or whoever participated. My name is Brenda, with no capital R, Brenda. And then you're gonna go ahead and put yourself a segment name. Segments are named by using 2 points. So pick 2 points that you like. I like the letter B because of my name. And the next one that makes sense to use is the letter C. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and measure myself. Either grab a ruler, or if you don't have a ruler, you can use a pencil, and then you can just approximate whatever measurement you have by using all the rulers, okay? So this is just a fun activity that you can do by applying the postulate, the segment addition postulate. Next person that you use, for example, it's mom. You're gonna use your last point because you guys are sharing a point in the middle, right? So if you guys were to stand side to side, that would be 2 segments, right? How the postulate says. That middle, or wherever you guys are touching, that middle finger that's touching, that's gonna be that center point that's being shared. So that center point is your last point, which is C. My last point is their first point. And the next point, which is D. Now I'm gonna go ahead and see, I use my sister. Sister. And sister is going to be the last point of mom, which is D, and then the next point, which is E. And this is just an example. So we're gonna use 3 people here. Now, once you measure, you can go ahead and record their measurements. It can be 35 inches. And notice that it says inches. So if you write a 1 here, our wingspan shouldn't measure 1 inch. So go ahead and correct that. Otherwise, go ahead and approximate as much as possible using what you have, okay, at home. Now let's see. Number 3, it says create an equation using the segment addition postulate and names of your segments. So remember that the segment addition postulate is going to be this here. And we're saying that BC plus CD plus DE gives you the largest segment. So what is the largest segment whenever you put everybody else together? Well, you get the outermost points, which is B and E. And you're gonna go ahead and solve it that way, okay? You're gonna go ahead and write out your measurements. So for example, like we said, my measurement was 35. And you can go ahead and make yourself more space if you need to. And create more space on here. So for example, mine measures 35, mom measures 30, sister measured 26 because she's little. And you're gonna have to find your unknown. So your unknown here would be the total. That would be your X, okay? So it's very, very similar. Now the next one, number 4, is very, very similar. Let me go ahead and clear this. However, this time you still have your segments. So your segment here is BC. BC plus CD plus DE equals BE. Now this time you're missing one of the members' wingspans total. So for example, you can go ahead and pick sister. So sister doesn't know what her measurement is, but you know the total. So then sister would be your unknown. So it would be your X. And that's an example, but you know your total. So go ahead and work on this. Have fun measuring everybody else's in everybody's wingspan in your family or anybody in your house. And I'm going to go over really quickly the last one, 1.1c. The same, you're going to go ahead and click. It's going to ask you to, this one's not going to ask you to make a copy. You're going to be able to see the actual worksheet, but make sure that whenever you start, before you start working on it, you download it or you make yourself a copy of the entire presentation so that you can write on it if you want to, or if you want to create your own work on here, type it out, you can go ahead and do so. So number 1 and 3, number 1, 3, and 5 are very, very similar to the examples that I did. Number 2 as well. And number 4 is an application example. So go ahead and read what it says. It says that she wants to cut it into, a carpenter has a wooden dowel. So a wooden dowel is like a wood stick. For example, a pencil is a wooden dowel. And that is 72 centimeters long. And she wants to cut it into 2 pieces. So it's gonna cut it into 2 pieces and it tells you what exactly the measurements are, what the ratios are, okay? So go ahead and work on that. And if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate on reaching out to me. I am available, guys, for you to ask any questions. I'll get back to you as soon as I can, okay? I'm trying my best. Bye, guys.